Everywhere Donald Trump looks, people are turning on him. In his own administration, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are throwing Pam Bandy under the bus. And along with her, Donald Trump and the MAGA media, Tucker Carlson, is ripping Donald Trump to shreds as his MAGA supporters leave in droves. And now his own propaganda outlet in Fox is turning on Trump as well. And we saw that this morning as they questioned Donald Trump over his Epstein failure. We're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting the work that we're doing. Now, before we can get into how the Fox hosts ripped into Trump for his lies, I want to start with Jamie Raskin, who pointed out the mistake Donald Trump made in his post last night that is really going to cost him.
The deep state is mega parlance, essentially, for anybody who doesn't follow orders from Donald Trump. I mean, they have sacked dozens of experienced federal criminal prosecutors simply because they did their jobs in working on the January 6th case, the January 6th investigation and prosecution. And of course, Donald Trump pardoned more than 1,500 convicted insurrectionists and rioters who assaulted federal police officers and engaged in other crimes. There were 140 of our officers who were wounded, injured, disfigured, permanently disabled by this attack. And the January 6th Select Committee report lays it all out. They've not laid a glove on a single factual statement in the entire report. And yet, I suppose this is what they're calling the deep state, or part of the deep state. And that really is just in the realm of conspiracy theory and fiction. And I'd love to debate any of them about any part of the findings of the January 6th Select Committee report. But on the question of child sex abuse, look, you could say that we've got an epidemic of this across society. We've got it in schools. We've got it in universities. We saw it at Ohio State. We saw it at Michigan State. We saw it in the Boy Scouts. It's affected a lot of different religious organizations and churches. And so by covering up, they are just reproducing and spreading the conspiracy theory and the anxiety about why this is happening. But you don't have to blame some shadowy deep state. Donald Trump and Pam Bondi are the ones who've got the power to release the Epstein files. So they're the closest thing we've got to the deep state right now, and they should go ahead and release all of the Epstein files and put an end to this.
I said it last night before I could even gauge what the reaction online and from MAGA was going to be. But Donald Trump Stryaned himself. He brought more attention to a scandal he is trying to distract everyone from. He told us, look away. Look at Obama, or Clinton, or Comey, or Biden. And it is only blown up in his face in the worst possible way. Donald Trump has really just shown that he is panicked now more than ever. And even his MAGA supporters on Truth Social recognize that because last night Donald Trump got a little taste of his own medicine. Trump gets ratioed by his own Truth Social followers over Epstein post. Donald Trump tried to shut down growing chatter about the Jeffrey Epstein files, but it just fell flat. It exploded in his face. In a rare and telling moment, the president got ratioed on his very own social media platform, Truth Social, by the very MAGA loyalists he once could count on to amplify every post. So it's not just the vocal mega influencers who aren't buying it, it's the very rabble he loves to rouse who are calling BS. For the uninitiated, getting ratioed is a social media shorthand for when a post receives far more replies than likes or reposts. Usually a sign that the audience disagrees with or is angry about the content. It's a public drubbing, and one that's typically reserved for establishment figures or media villains, not Trump. And certainly not on Truth Social, a platform custom-built to be his digital stronghold. Yet, that's precisely what happened. So, as we pointed out with some comments last night, MAGA is turning on Trump. They are furious, and so is Fox. who started the morning by questioning Donald Trump and calling out his lies.
Lots of questions that have been swirling about Jeffrey Epstein for a long time, for over 10 years, and the government's involvement in it. If there's anybody who could walk in and say, okay, we've resolved all of the questions and there is nothing here, it would be President Trump and his crew. The problem is you can't really do it without giving some explanation, and there has to be some explanation, and I think that's why you have a lot of people still pretty with a lot of very valid questions about it.
You absolutely nailed it. You can defuse this ticking time bomb if you simply get out there, sit down, the AG, get the deputy director, and get the director himself. Put them in front of cameras, have them make a statement, and have them answer questions. We're only talking about 5 or 10 questions. But what this will do is, first of all, restores confidence. Number 2, it answers some of the basics, especially the simple things like, you can't tell me that 1,000 people were hurt and that there are no people out there that we can arrest. You can't tell me that, oh, sorry, we don't have a list. Fine, don't have a list. Tell me who the perpetrators were. Let's depose every single person who might have had a chance to get on that list and might have been out there at that island, and let's talk to them. Let's find out what happened. You're telling me other videos out there in New Mexico and at the island and in New York, and nobody saw anything? I don't buy it, and that's why they need to get out there and face the fire. Doesn't have to be long. But you have to answer questions to the American people, because absent that, the story won't die, and that's a distraction the president doesn't want.
Of course, and in that True Social that he put out, he talked about all his accomplishments.
Yeah.
And he's saying, why let's not let this overcome. And I think he doesn't want that. I think his supporters don't want that. And I think that's why they want just some simple answers.
Yeah.
And of course, he's right about that. I mean,
There's no question.
None of this mars any of the extraordinary accomplishments, and we want to keep going.
That's right.
All right.
Donald Trump has told so many lies about the Epstein files that there's not much more he can say now. He claims they exist, but won't release them because they're phony, while also saying they were written by Obama, Clinton, and Biden. If that's true, why not release them and prove they're fake? Trump is stuck in his own lies and can't get out. It's not just Epstein. His failed trade war also shows it. Kevin Hassett was confronted on TV today, and the meltdown says it all. This clip is right here.
Well, as you know, a lot of economists say that the inflation will be coming, and that there were certainly a lot of imports that were brought in the anticipation that tariffs would be placed. But let me ask you about one new set of tariffs that he announced on Brazil. 50% new tariff on Brazil. Brazil had a $6.8 billion surplus last year. In fact, the U.S. hasn't had a trade deficit with Brazil since 2007. I mean, almost 2 decades. So why are we putting a punishing 50% tariff on Brazil?
Well, bottom line is the president has been very frustrated with negotiations with Brazil and also with the actions of Brazil. In the end, though, we're trying to put America first. I think that a lot of people, when I'm talking to negotiators from other countries, at some point they'll say, what did we do wrong? And what I'm trying to get, the message we're all trying to get across is this is about America getting itself ready for the golden age by getting our house in order, by getting our tariff and trade policy and tax policy exactly where it needs to be for a golden age. And normally it's not necessarily about a specific country, but with Brazil it is. Their actions have shocked the president at times, and he's made them clear about that.
But I don't understand how you're saying it's about America, because the president has made it quite clear that what he's upset about is how the Brazilian Supreme Court has handled the criminal case involving former President Bolsonaro.
I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is that what I've been saying with most countries was that it's really about us getting the tariffs in order, and I think that this tariff for Brazil is a lot higher because of the president's frustration with Bolsonaro. And the fact that Bolsonaro himself, anyway.
But can you explain to me, because I find it confusing here, on what authority does the president have to impose tariffs on a country because he doesn't like what that country's judicial system is handling a specific case?
Well,
I mean, how is that?
If he thinks it's a national defense emergency, or if he thinks it's a national security threat, that he has the authority under IEPA.
So how is it a national security threat that how Brazil is handling a criminal case against its former president.
Well, that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. I mean,
so what is it? I mean, I've asked what it is. I mean, it seems that that's what President Trump's talking about. He's talking about his anger and his frustration. He's been quite candid about it with the Bolsonaro case.
Right. Well, the bottom line is that what we're doing absolutely collectively across every country is we're onshoring production in the U.S. to reduce the national emergency that is that we have a massive trade deficit that's putting it at risk should we need production in the U.S. because of a national security crisis. And this is part of an overall strategy to do that.
But again, as we've just established, we have a trade surplus with Brazil, not a deficit. And we've had a surplus with Brazil for 18 years.
What a complete implosion. It's always been a stunt. Just bluster and PR tricks from Donald Trump. He still doesn't understand what tariffs do, and the media has failed by not pushing him harder. Instead of real questions, they let him ramble with hypotheticals. Trump uses these moments to grift, play markets, and act tough. And it doesn't stop there. Now he's pushing his illegal deportation plan, which Senator Alex Padilla called out today. This clip is right here.
What Tom Homan did was say that the federal judge was just plain wrong. And what the judge ruled, just so our viewers know, on Friday is that the tactics that ICE is using are a likely violation of the Constitution, suggesting that immigration agents are detaining people, quote, based on race alone. Homan said that's just not true. What do you think?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time the Trump administration tries to just dismiss a court order. And so it's our job to ensure that we uphold the law, uphold the Constitution. I mean, Holman has said it very clearly in other interviews. They're not even asking for significant findings to detain people. They're going based on appearance, his words, not mine, based on occupation, his words, not mine, based on accents, physical appearance. Then what if I was outside of Home Depot, because I like to do some work around the house, not dressed in a suit, would I be a target of ICE enforcement under Tom Homan? Probably. And it's just wrong. It's not just due process rights that have become the concern, but racial profiling. When federal agents involved in immigration enforcement are using racial profiling, they're not enforcing the law, they are breaking it.
Basically,
Damage human even more than Donald Trump might be the biggest fake talk guy I have ever seen. One day he will go on Fox and say he's arresting AOC and kicking down doors, acting like he's ready to rumble, but then he goes on CNN. And when Kathleen Conning asked if we really meant to arrest Newsom, he backpedaled with his marble mouth saying, well, I do not think I was going to arrest Gavin Newsom. Translation, I got scared and I do not actually want to do anything. This is the whole Trump administration. Big talk, no action. We have to call that out. Thanks for watching this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.